Is there a large group of officials at the Pentagon that actually believe that aliens are demonic entities? Why are they suddenly being so open? This is by Michael Snyder, Economic Collapse blog on Collective Spark. We live in a world that's getting even weirder with each passing month. In the old days, if you talked about UFOs and aliens, a lot of people would be tempted to think that you were nuts. But now UFOs and aliens are the subject of high-profile hearings in Congress, and corporate news outlets are constantly running stories about new sightings. It has become quite clear that something is going on in the skies above our heads, and this has sparked a tremendous amount of speculation. Are we really being visited by entities from another world, or is something else going on? Some of the aircraft that have been appearing in our skies are absolutely massive. For example, a new Netflix documentary is examining the case of a gigantic delta-shaped UFO that was seen by hundreds of people in Texas over an extended period of time. For 5 months after Halloween of 2007, more than 300 locals living 80 miles southwest of Dallas-Fort Worth in Texas began reporting something strange in their skies, a giant delta-shaped UFO. Estimates of its size range from over 300 feet to 1 mile long. A mile long? As a large V-shaped formation, sometimes seen with 7 orange-red lights, hovered above campfires, cruised past major highways, and sped silently across the horizon. And now Netflix's new UFO docuseries Encounters, which premieres Wednesday, has delivered that's tomorrow, fresh details on this larger-than-life object witnessed by over 300 locals high above the desert. So who is piloting these aircraft? For decades, movies, television shows, novels, and video games have been conditioning people to believe that they are aliens from another world, but there are other theories. In fact, the British news source just published a story about a very large contingent of people at the Pentagon that believe that these creatures are actually demons. And that's what I believe, because they're trying to make you believe that Christ is not going to save us. Now, Pentagon commanders have clamped down on research into extraterrestrial because of their religious beliefs, it's claimed. Leading UFO researcher Ron James says senior figures in the U.S. government fear aliens are, in fact, demons. Ron, who is director of media relations for UFO research group MUFON, claims there is a very large contingent of people within the Pentagon who opposed the work of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, ATIP for short, because they think the UAPs regularly reported by U.S. military sources are piloted by creatures from hell. How did they arrive at that conclusion? The article does not say. But apparently the belief is so pervasive that it was even affecting who was getting funding. He says he was told by Louis Elizondo, who has gone on record as being the boss of ATIP, it was not just a little voice in the Pentagon, but a huge group of people thought the phenomenon that was being witnessed was in fact demons, demonic entities. This fundamentalist Christian lobby within the U.S. defense establishment, quote, actually affected Elizondo's ability to get funding, end quote. Ron says, belief in both UFOs and literal truth of the Bible is not entirely incompatible, he says. Of course, there is quite a bit of evidence that supports the notion that these entities are not our friends. According to Dr. Hugh Ross, human encounters with these entities are always deleterious and can never be categorized as beneficial. As for the human reaction to these encounters, Ross also noted they are never beneficial and interactions are always deleterious. The best you're going to come away with one of these encounters is recurring, terrifying nightmares, he said. Worst case scenario, you get killed. Reports of alien encounters also mirror what some have experienced during claims of demonic activity, he said. From going into trances to engaging in automatic writing, Ross believes the parallels between possession and purported interactions with extraterrestrials cannot be ignored. And it should be noted that a very high proportion of those that do have such encounters are involved in occult activities in some way. So something very strange is definitely going on with these creatures, and these days members of Congress are even openly talking about them. During a recent podcast, U.S. Representative Tim Burchette suggested that these entities appear to have technology that humanity cannot handle. A Tennessee lawmaker issued a dire warning after claiming to have been have seen classified UFO footage that has not been released to the public. Representative Tim Burchette, Republican from Tennessee, speculated extraterrestrial life forms could have technology that humanity cannot handle during an appearance on the Event Horizon podcast. And Burchette said, if they're out there, they're out there, and if they have this kind of technology, then they could turn us into a charcoal briquette. And he went on to say that we could not fight them if we wanted to. We could not fight them off if we wanted to. Burchette is a sitting member of the House Oversight Committee, which has held hearings about potential threats of unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, a government-derived term for UFOs. We can't handle it, Burchette said during his podcast appearance about potential alien technology. We could not fight them off if we wanted to. That's why I don't think they're a threat to us, or they would already have been. Burchette seems to believe that if they were going to attack, they would have done so already. But what if he's wrong? Or what if they have another insidious plan that does not involve direct warfare? There is so much that we don't know. And thankfully, new legislation may make it easier for information about UFOs to get out to the public. The Senate passed an amendment in July that will be part of the National Defense Authorization NDAA for 2024, known as the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena UAP Disclosure Act. It says government agencies with records, samples of craft, or biological material must hand it over within 300 days. President Joe Biden will have 90 days to appoint a 9-person review board responsible for investigating each record and determining if they are considered UAPs that should be disclosed to the public. Any government agency possessing such records will be required to hand over printed and digital copies to the board, which has 180 days to investigate and 14 days to publish their findings. Hopefully, this new legislation will do some good, but why now? Why are they suddenly being so open? And he said, Michael Snyder says, as I asked in my most recent book, are we being prepared for something? I wish I had answers to all of those questions, but I don't. I do believe, however, that a very evil agenda is at work, and I also believe that things will get much clearer during the months and years to come. And this is by Michael Snyder. It says, must have. I highly recommend buying Michael's new book entitled End Times. Its insightful content and engaging narrative make it a must-read for anyone seeking knowledge and inspiration. And this is by Michael Snyder of Economic Collapse blog on Collective Spark. And let's remember what is written by St. Paul the Apostle, saying that the devil appeared to Eve as an angel of light. And that's how they're shapeshifters. They can shape it, turn into any shape they want, even a car or even a mosquito or even a mountain. And he appeared to her as an angel of light, in that way tempting her to entice her with his beauty. She was tempted and fell into sin. And we know that demonic entities have a very, very full list of machinations that they can use against us to make us fall. And their aim is, of course, to not allow us to refill the angelic order that was emptied because of the fall of Satan and his angelic realm, the 10th angelic realm. That's to be filled only by human beings, righteous human beings. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.